Y'all stress me out. Okay, a few months ago, I uploaded a video on YouTube titled, "The Media is Manipulating You." And when I uploaded that video, I received so many comments from people that thought that I was either promoting propaganda or giving cover to white supremacists, or my favorite, telling my mostly white conservative audience the things that they want to hear. Yeah, because that somehow discredits my argument. But if you actually watch that video, my point that I was trying to make is that by and large, the media is the enemy of the people. The media will take small instances of news coverage and amplify it tenfold to make you fearful, to make you angry, and to keep you distracted. They don't care about injustice or white supremacy or mass shootings. They don't care. They care about their money and they care about ratings. That's it. And if you needed proof that what I'm saying is actually true, then the recent situation involving Kyle Rittenhouse is all the proof that you need. So for those that aren't familiar with this story, let me give you a rundown. Kyle Rittenhouse is a white, because race is important in this story, he is a white 17-year-old that went to Kenosha with his AR-15, legally owned by the way, to help protect businesses from being looted or being set ablaze. Because let's be real, based on what we saw during the peaceful protest of 2020, one could assume that arson and looting and rioting was in the books. But yes, so he went to the protest with the intentions to help small business owners protect their hard work. Long story short, he ends up having to defend himself against 3 guys. One of them he injured and 2 of them he killed. Now, I am not surprised that there was a lot of misinformation surrounding this story. But what I am surprised at is when the proof is shoved in your face and you still refuse to accept the proof and own up to the fact that you contributed to misinformation. Now you got me fucked up. So let's consider some of the most common talking points that I heard from people that were purposely spreading misinformation surrounding this case. And I have to also make the point again that Kyle is 17 years old. His reputation ruined. He's going to get a lot of money. He's going to get a lot. I hope he sues the hell out of mainstream media and the president for this. But his reputation is ruined right now. So let's consider these talking points. The first is probably my favorite, and it's that Kyle shot 2 innocent black BLM protesters. Wrong. He shot 2 white men, one of which was a pedophile. So when you go online and you talk about how another white supremacist was let off free, I need you to really analyze your thoughts and consider how stupid you sound. The next thing that I kept hearing was that Kyle crossed state lines. Please, spare me this nonsense. I live in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, it's literally 10 minutes away. Crossing state lines, the kid drove 30 minutes to another area. Stop that nonsense. Keywords like that are made to exacerbate the severity of a situation, because from the very beginning, mainstream media was trying so hard to villainize this guy, trying so hard to paint him as the big bad white supremacist, and using things like crossing state lines is an example of that. Here's another one that I kept hearing, that Kyle shouldn't have been there. Yeah, and neither should have any of the peaceful protesters. Why were any of them there? This involved a case between a black man and a police officer. The other thing that I heard was that a skateboard isn't a deadly weapon, therefore Kyle shouldn't have shot the other person. Excuse me. No. We're not doing that. No. If you lift up a skateboard like this and you're about to whack someone, you intend to hurt them, as I'm showing you right here in this news article where someone died as a result of getting hit in the back of the head with a skateboard. And of course, there's this other comment that's not directly related to the case, but more so the analysis of the court proceedings, was that Kyle was fake crying and he was doing it just to get sympathy. Do you guys not understand what PTSD looks like? And I say this with concern that a lot of these SJWs usually advocate for, eradicating hate speech because it somehow hurts people's mental health and it leads to suicide and things like that. So I find it quite ironic that these same people are so openly just degrading a man or a young man that clearly is not okay after what happened. Anyone that gets a firearm the legal way, I don't think they're intending to actually kill someone. They would hope that they don't have to use it. The point of getting a firearm for self-defense is not to start mowing people down just because you feel like it. You have to come to terms that you may have to use that firearm at some point, and unfortunately, he had to. That takes a lot out of your soul. For 17 years old, that is, you're so young, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life, that you took someone else's life away. Now, was it justified? Personally, yes, because I've sifted through lots of video footage, lots of different angles of this situation, and just hearing the rhetoric of people that are on the opposite side that claim to still think that this was a case of white supremacists getting away scot-free, clearly, they don't know what they're talking about. If you work for the media, or you're a journalist, or you're a YouTuber that has a massive following and your entire shtick is to deliver current events, you have an obligation to research and actually dive into these stories beyond what the media tells you. Because if you don't, you could also contribute to the divide of society, the intentional divide of society, and you're also contributing to ruining the life of a young man. If you had nothing to say about BLM lighting shit up all throughout 2020, I don't want to hear your input on the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. I do not care. And for the people that follow these outlets and follow these YouTubers that caught on to the fact that they were pushing wrong information, I really hope that you don't forget who these people are, because they're going to do it again. They're going to wait for you to forget that they ruined a young man's life for views and for clicks and for sub revenue. They're going to bank on the fact that you have short-term memory, but I'm here to remind you to not forget. My hope is that people who take the word of strangers without doing their own research, or not even strangers, people that take the word of someone else without researching something themselves. And I don't mean just going up on Google and pulling up an article somewhere. No. What I want is that people need to decide if they want to be involved in a case and give their 2 cents. You have an obligation, just like all of these journalists and media outlets have an obligation, to report correct news. So if you're just regurgitating what someone else tells you without you actually researching and looking into it yourself, you are no different than these propaganda machines. So if you don't want to research, then I would highly recommend you zip it. You keep your mouth shut and you let the courts handle it, because there is so much misinformation surrounding this trial. This poor young man's life is ruined. He's going to be very rich, but he is ruined right now. Seriously, sue them. Don't talk about something that you know little about. So, what was this case? If we're considering what I talked about in my first video where I said the media is manipulating us, what are they doing and how are they manipulating us? So, this case of white supremacy is false. This was an act of self-defense. The narrative that the mainstream media has been pumping into your brain was garbage, okay? It does not make sense. You have to let it go. This was an innocent man that defended himself against 2 people that wanted him dead, okay? Now, how are they manipulating you? Because they're redirecting your attention to a white supremacy case instead of, I don't know, the case involving Epstein's ex-girlfriend, who is standing trial for allegedly grooming underage victims to have unwanted sex with Epstein, which is going on at the same time that this Kyle Rittenhouse situation was going on as well. Aside from that, How is the media trying to manipulate you? Well, let's think about this for a second. Think of all the politicians that are standing at their podiums talking about white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. And then the Kyle case happens and we see that he didn't actually hurt any black people. So explain this white supremacy thing. What would these politicians and these media conglomerates actually benefit from regurgitating this narrative of white supremacy? Let me help you out, because this video is going on a little bit too long and I got a date with another cup of coffee in a second. By the way, Krigler coffee right here. Check it out. It's very good. It's quite good. Ooh, I need to drink normal. I drink like an animal. I don't like saying I told you so, but I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to make an exception because I told you so. And a few months from now, I'm going to make another video also saying I told you so. Because I know even after this video, there will still be people that refuse to accept the reality that these media conglomerates do not care about you. And if you haven't figured this out yet, the media and politicians are working together. They're going hand in hand. And what they're doing is what I call creating a problem and then providing a solution to that problem. And they're doing this nonstop, rinse and repeat. They've been doing this for years, but between 2020 and 2021, everything that they're doing is very obvious, at least for me. So, for example, problem and solution tactic. Let's consider the narrative of lack of representation in Hollywood. People that subscribe to that lie, because that's what it is, are generally those that also subscribe to woke ideology in general. And the solution to lack of representation would be to bring people on that want to be the first whatever to represent their group. Again, this is a lie and it's actually quite insulting. So if you have actors that are going into Hollywood already subscribing to the woke ideology, from a political standpoint, you've got your propaganda minions right there. That's it. You have an infinite supply of propaganda warriors on TV, in movies, in commercials, because why? Most people that subscribe to lack of representation are those that subscribe to woke ideology. And if we consider the details surrounding this Kyle Rittenhouse situation, because let's be real, what does Biden and Kamala Harris have to gain by constantly talking about white supremacy? What do any of these Democratic politicians have to gain by always talking about white supremacy? I'll tell you, what they're hoping to gain is the intentional division of society, because a divided society is an easier to manipulate society. And if you look at what's happening in Australia or parts of Canada or around the world, assuming you can actually sift through the propaganda, one thing is very consistent. It's that a lot of people are losing their freedoms under the guise of safety. Take that as you will, okay? I don't want to get flagged by YouTube. Take that as you will. But people are losing their freedoms. And if you value your freedom, I suggest that you stop listening to what other people have to say and start using your brain. Want to keep my grift going? Of course you do. I'm a grifter. Consider supporting my work on Locals. For just $5 a month, you'll get early release access to all my videos, invites to community events like game nights, and more intimate views on me and my life. So if you want to join a community of other intellectual badasses while supporting my work, visit gothixtv.locals.com to sign up. And if you need a wardrobe that's as problematic as your opinions, don't forget to check out my partnership with No System by visiting nosysnos.com/Gothix.